We got there at 10:45.
Yeah. First of all, Baruch Hashem, I didn't get to know the whole community yet. Trying to learn some people's names. Hopefully we'll get to know you. I'll get to know you, you got to know me. My name is Ephraim Lerner. I moved into town a couple months ago. I work in the Sifta. Yeah, anyways, usually when I Farbrengen, it starts off that everyone comes,
Right.
and they all eat the food, and then slowly gets less and less and less. Here, it's like the opposite.
It's there's more coming. There's still a soup coming out. The potatoes coming out.
Yeah, it's exactly the opposite.
You hope it's there.
If not, it's okay. We have a good crowd anyways.
It's okay. If not, we have a Masifta to send them to.
No, they Farbrengen already Thursday night. We all time Farbrengen for them the whole night. They canceled Chassidus next day.
Oh wow, that's
delayed.
Yeah.
It was very short. Farbrengen, I heard. I wasn't there, and I Farbrengen the Thursday before that, so it's fine. Yeah, it's take a week. Anyways, okay. So this week we have two amazing personalities. One is Avram Avinu, and one is the Rebbe Hashem. Yeah, and they share a lot of commonalities. They get to share one story
It's
actually.
like a Spizen, huh? Like
Yeah, it's like the Shpizen. I was thinking that. Taka is like the Shpizen. That they share a lot. They have a lot in common. The Rebbe Rashab, there's one story where the Rebbe Rashab touches on the Avram Avinu's life, and that is that the Rebbe Rashab comes home from Cheder one day, and he looks around and he's crying. Well, what's the problem? So he tells his grandfather, the Tzemach Tzedek. He tells the Tzemach Tzedek, why am I crying? I'm crying because Avram Avinu was 99 years old, and Hashem went and revealed himself to Avram Avinu. Hashem revealed himself. And I want Hashem to appear to me. I want Hashem to reveal himself to me as well. That's what the Rebbe Rashab said. As a small child, he must have been only 5 years old or younger, because the Tzemach Tzedek passed away when he was like 5 or 6. So
at most, he
was 5 years old. It makes sense that he was 5 because he's already in Cheder. That's around
right. So he would have heard already about them.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the Tzemach Tzedek turns to him and he says a very nice answer. There's two ways to say the answer. Either the answer was that when a Jew at the age of 99 decides to perform a bris on himself, he deserves that Hashem should appear to him. Or the other way is when a Yid Tzaddik is at the age of 99, he adds the word tzaddik. That's the question. Does it have to be a tzaddik or not? When a Yid tzaddik does a bris at the age of 99, so then he deserves that Hashem should appear to him. So that's where the Rebbe Rashab and Avram Avinu, their lives join. That's where it joins. Right when he's a very young man. Now, what was the idea? Avram Avinu, if you look at his life, throughout his life, every time, we know Avram Avinu has titles. What's his title? It's Avram Oihavoy. That Avram was the most beloved person from the Eibishter. Hashem loved him. What was the idea of love? So Yitzchak is all about fear. Avram Avinu is all about love. That naturally, Avram Avinu was inclined to always do something that's of a chesed way, a kindness. He was always looking to help someone, to give, to be passive, to allow other people to have things. He was always not about himself. That was his whole being. He was a very, very relaxed person. Yitzchak was a very fiery, harsh individual. You need some of both of them. I think the world runs on both of these types of people. I don't know which one I am or not. Every person always
find out.
Sometimes
a little bit, sometimes a little less.
Everyone has a little bit of both. But in any event, Avram Avinu was the epitome of chesed. It says when Avram Avinu was born, they explain that Hashem retired the midah of chesed. Hashem said, okay, chesed doesn't need to be here because Avram is in the world. That's how kind he was. So what happens? What is the first thing that you hear about Avram Avinu? And Medrash explains that Avram Avinu went and destroys all the idols of his father. That's the first thing he does. So the first thing that he does is gevura. He sneaks in to the store and just smashes all the idols. That's the first thing. Next thing, what does he do? Gets thrown into fire for not willing to bow. Also, very gevura, very strong. Okay? Then Hashem saves him. Next thing after that, what does he do? He leaves his whole family behind, takes his wife, and he runs off because Hashem told him so. Okay? So that's also gevura. He was a very strong personality. So all these things end up being, if you look throughout his whole life, I don't know, Sedaim, it says, Diber, it used the words by Daber, that he spoke with the Lashon Diber. Diber is Lashon Kashis. It's strong. And when he talked to the Eibusher about Sedaim, right? Hashem wants to destroy the cities, all 5 cities, and he goes and he starts arguing with Hashem. He's fighting with Hashem. So the next thing that he does is what? He's harsh. He's being harsh. The word in the pasuk is Diber, not Amira. Amira is to say, to speak. Diber is to be harsh, to try to get something done. So he's also being harsh. He's also doing gvur. That's the next thing he does. You move throughout Avram Avinu's life, the bris, right? He's 99 years old and he goes and gives himself the bris. That's not very kind. I wouldn't say that's chesed. Every single thing he does throughout his life is not chesed. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's one exception. I don't know. You could argue with me about this one. Is when he bought the plot of land for in Chayesar this week. Now I would say it's chesed. Why? He was willing to just splurge, just to give and give and give, just not to argue with whoever owned the field, stay Ephraim. He didn't want to argue with him, so he's willing just to give him, just to get the better. I don't know. I think that's where you see the chesed play out. But until then, which was way later in life, after that Akedah, that happened right after he did an Akedah and was willing to sacrifice his son and shecht his own kid. Until then, every single story about Avram Avinu is not kind. Every story is gevura. Every story is harsh. So
what about speak very shortly?
yeah,
What about actually, as far as actually, when he's looking out for guests?
yeah. So was that? So you're saying? Well. Let me ask you this. Hashem is standing right next to him. Yeah, standing there. So he left Hashem to go find the guests. So I don't know if that's kindness. It was. I think it was a gevura. He had to have a strength in him to say, "I'm not going to stay with Hashem. I'm going to force myself to go get the guests." I don't know. That's what it was. Today, Rabbi Unzdifer actually said a speech today. He was explaining how, think about it, you're on the highest spiritual experience of your life. You just had a bris at the age of 99, and Hashem is sitting next to you to visit you on the third day after you had a bris. And you're going to leave him. Why? Because you have a mitzvah. So I don't know if I don't know if that fits in the category of being kind. Of chesed. It's a kindness, but I don't know if it was a kindness. I think the reason why he did it was because he was commanded. He realized that this is what I really need to do. I don't need to have my own ruchnistic experience. I need to have do what Hashem wants me to do. Yeah, I see people don't agree with me. Okay, it's okay. That's what I don't know. That's what I thought. That was my opinion. I didn't find it to be chesed. But the one chesed is finally I think Chai Yisara is chesed. It's a straight chesed. He goes and he's willing to pay just to be passive, just to not fight, just to give in. That was when it was Taka Yisa Avram Oyavoy. Avram Yisha chesed. Anyway, so the question is, how does he go to such an extent to go against his own nature every single time and not to be kind? Yeah. So what's the point? Everyone knows. We have to make a dir b'tachlim. We have to do what Hashem wants. So over here, Avram Avinu was also the ultimate of Kabbalah, the ultimate of being committed to what Hashem wanted him to do. Every time he asked himself, what's the right thing to do, and what's my thing to do? And he always picked the right thing to do. He always picked what he had to do. So every single time, whether it was smashing the idol, or it was an costume, etc., he was always picking the right answer instead of the chesed answer. And that's why many times he had to go against his own inhibitions, his own natural state of being. And that's why he went ahead and did gevura many times. So this is Avram Avinu's ish hachesed, but on the same time, overpowering that was his mission, was what he had to do. So nowadays we're getting closer to Rosh Chodesh Kislev. I think there's 10 days between Chof, Mar Cheshvan, and Rosh Chodesh Kislev. It kind of is like, I don't know, Seres Mei Tshuvos, or Seres Mei leading up. Today, finally,
Slichus,
I sit in a good, and they finally sang Rosh Chodesh Kislev name. So we're getting there. It's happening. So Chof Cheshvan tells you to start thinking about what's our mission, what are the Rebbe tell us we have to do. That's how a person overpowers his natural state, what he is, if he's a chesed person or he's a gevura person. And he breaks himself to go to do what he really needs to do. There's an idea in Chassidus, I think it's in Kuntres in Yana Shoteres Chassidus, where it explains the foundation of Teres Chassidus. Yeah, they changed. They had Kuntres Teres Chassidus, right? They had it written. This is the Kuntres, the pamphlet of learning Chassidus. The Rebbe added in Yana, or changed the word to in Yana. Someone knows what was the original. Yeah, the Rebbe didn't want to say this is the Kuntres of Chassidus. You never want to say this is the idea of what Chassidus is about. So I don't know. The Rebbe didn't want to say something definite. It's very interesting. The Rebbe didn't want to. Yeah. Kuntres Shoteres Chassidus was written as a introduction to Rabbi Yoel's sefer of encyclopedia Sefer HaErchim, where Rabbi Yoel was supposed to make an encyclopedia of the whole Chassidus, all the different things. It happened that he got to Aleph, Emunah. What's the last one?
Yeah, 10 olives.
Yeah, we're in the Aleph only. So some is Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Ches, and there's like 10 different slots, Erechs. I don't know how to say Erech in English. What's an Erech?
Entries.
A word. Each word gets a different thing. So you have Emunah, you have Ava. So he got up to Achdus Hashem. By Achdus Hashem, Rabbi Yoel got stuck. To say what is Achdus Hashem, he couldn't do. He couldn't commit to writing to explain to everyone what Achdus Hashem is. And what I heard was the past the last few years, Real kept changing back and forth, different things, in and out, and in and out, and in and out of Achdus Hashem, never making a decision. Why? Because Real felt that once he says down Achdus Hashem, this is Taka Achdus Hashem. He's writing what Achdus Hashem is. Sefer Erecha. It's not a joke. What is it? So to say what is Achdus Hashem, the unity of Hashem, was a very hard thing for Real to do, and he didn't. It took him a long time to put out the Sefer. That's what I heard. And now it's all
finished, right?
What people, a lot of the Erkin are finished. For example, if you do Avi, you probably did Yira. Yeah. So if you did Emunah, so you did Bitachon. So every time you do one Erech, you do all the Erechim that have to do with that one. Anyways, I got sidetracked. What was I saying? Why did I bring this? Because in Sefer Kunzus Yinosh Chassidus, it describes how the ultimate of a person of serving Hashem, Al Pi Chassidus, is when he goes against his nature. That he changes his midos. He changes what he really is. A person, whatever he's naturally inclined to do, is probably not his ultimate goal of what he should be doing. Yeah, a lot of times we go where it's comfortable. For example, myself, I think I'm inclined to want to learn Torah. It's just naturally, not inclined to go on Mitzrayim. It's very hard. It's a lot harder for me to go on Mitzrayim than it is to learn a Black Gemara or to learn a Ma'aser Chassidus. So I'm inclined to do that. So therefore, because of that, I unfortunately don't spend as much time on Mitzrayim as some other people that I do know. So that's why. So, but the ultimate goal is to change Shina Hamohos, to change your teva, to change your natural inhibitions, to change your midos is what Chassidus is all about, and that is where you will find the ultimate goal of who you should be. So L'chaim Levracha, we should learn from Avram Avinu to sometimes that we need to overcome what we naturally want to do for what Hashem wants us to do. It may not be a bad thing that we want to do.
That's why I question if his nature was one of Chesed. I'll tell you why. Because,
in Nach,
no, I know, but it's very funny. Yeah. But it's a very funny thing.
Yeah.
Because we know that Avram was the Aveda of Chesed.
Yeah.
Ad Kedei Kach, he was the Merkava of Chesed. It almost sounds funny. So this was his Aveda wasn't a thing that came naturally to him. It's almost usually the Aveda.
Yeah.
Right. Like for me, it's clear to be normal is my Aveda. Why? Because to somebody else maybe it comes easy.
Yeah.
To me, being normal doesn't come easy. Right, so it's an Aveda to be normal. So maybe this is my Aveda. Usually your Aveda is like something you fight. In this case, Avram Avinu, it's very weird. It's like, what was his Aveda? Ad Kedei Kach, that his Aveda was so strong that he was the Merkava for Chesed.
Right.
Is what this thing that came naturally to him.
I'll tell you like this. Torah writes that he is Isha Chesed. So therefore...
But is that lechatchila by his nature, or is that his Isha Chesed because his Aveda was Chesed, so he worked on it, so that was what he worked on.
He worked on Gvura. He worked against nature, which is the ultimate Aveda.
So, which is very funny because now, because then how's he the Merkava of Chesed? He should be the Merkava. If his Aveda was in Gvura, shouldn't he be the Merkava of Gvura, not of Chesed? Which being the Merkava of Chesed implies his whole Aveda is given in Chesed.
What does it mean to be a Merkava? What's a chariot?
Merkava means that through his Aveda, Davka. Yeah. He went to level after level after level, ad kedei kach that he's the one who brings down into the Seder Ishtalshalos, the Eibishter's Chesed.
Yeah, but what is a Merkava? What is it? What is a Merkava?
I don't know. When it's like Achdus Hashem when we explain.
So that's when you skip it, right?
No, it means that
what is a Merkava?
The Eibishter comes down through him, like he's like a conduit.
What is a Merkava? A Merkava is a wagon.
Yeah.
Right. A Merkava. The idea of a Merkava is that you don't have anything on your own. Merkava is not even the horse. That means. The horse, at least, pulls the wagon. Just does.
Right, it has.
Merkava does absolutely nothing on its own. It has
wheels. It goes. Yeah,
it just goes. Okay, it goes after what the horse goes,
got rid of
which
its
is
own feelings.
what the person on the horse or on the wagon tells the horse to go. That's a Merkava. So what's a Merkava? A Merkava is someone that's completely bottled, that has nothing. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay. So to be the Merkava of something, what does that mean? Yeah. If you're a Merkava, you're the guy that leads the singing and show, right? Now I stopped coming, really. But
you're not just see. I thought you should know. You can come back. I stopped singing.
Really? What happened?
No, I'm joking.
Okay. No, I came in. I thought it was wonderful. I think all the
okay, but it's not. But
usually
according to Torah,
in a lot of communities they have a minion where they ship out all the kids. They stick them in a place. The kids could all make a bunch of noise, and the fathers could.
No comment. We did. We shipped them back. The kids back.
Oh
upstairs. But we didn't just ship them upstairs. They have a beautiful minion up there.
Okay, so in LA they have the KYY. They have Koyak Yehuda. Rabbi Duchman runs it. And he makes a whole program, and they have presidents and the Rav of the week and the Rabbi of the week, and so it's just a whole thing. Yeah, so it's wonderful. But over here, I thought it was a very cute idea. It was a very interesting idea. Why do you have to kick the kids out?
The kids in the school.
Have the kids in the shul. And that was my take. I don't know. I stopped coming because now Masifta started, so I go there.
Right.
I'm there. I walk to there.
But according if you look at the Torah, whatever,
yeah.
he specifically talks about being a merkava, not just like, oh, you are the merkava. He talks about it being something that comes dafka through an aveda, so an aveda in this thing, and constantly breaking yourself, and so. But again, if your nature is in that, so how does the aveda? Where does the aveda come in then of being a merkava?
So what is what do you need to do to be a merkava? Right? So if a merkava is not lack, a merkava is nothing. Merkava means that you don't do anything. That you don't try to make.
It doesn't mean you don't do anything. It means you don't be anything. It has nothing to do with you. It's you're just. In other words, merkava is doing something, but it has nothing to do with its own.
The idea is that you take away every level of the nefesh habahamis, every level of anything external besides for your true existence. And when you reveal your true existence, since you're a liyid, your true existence is your nefesh halikis. Yeah.
Fine.
So when you reveal that all the way, if you are a isha chesed, then what will you be if you reveal that to the extreme, right? So you purified it again and again and again and again and again to get rid of every single externality, everything that's chitzonius. Yeah. What would you be left with?
So Lav is going against your nature. It's taking what you have, your nature, and now using it, taking away because your nefesh habahamis likes your nature also.
Yeah.
Right,
it's working to get rid of every external thing just to leave you with your purest form of yourself. But it's still of yourself. It's not of anyone else. Yeah? So if Avram did that, what would he be? If Avram did do that.
Right.
He was the Merkava.
So even though the Hakil was in Isha Chesed, his Aveda was that Chesed should be the Abish's Chesed. And not
he got rid of
his own.
Everything that was covering. Right. And he was left with Chesed. But that's still Chesed. That's still his natural state. He was the Merkava of Chesed.
Right.
He just did it all the way. That's still not when we say in Chassidus,
I'll buy that.
Shine Yater. Yeah? That's not changing your midas. Changing your midas was when Avram went and did that Kedah. That was changing his midas. That was changing his existence.
Right.
He went and shechted it. He was willing to shecht his son. That's a crazy thing. Especially for the kind person, for the person that's the Merkava of Chesed, that's a crazy thing.
What I find amazing is that here Avram actually pleads on behalf of Rishon, right?
Yeah.
And they're wicked.
Yeah.
And he says nothing but it says, not only that, but in the morning, instead of it being actually, oh, okay, I'm going to bring my son. No, he's with his Jesus. Come on, son. Wake up.
Right. Yeah, so at that, Baruch Hashem, I have the opportunity to teach Tafshin Yud. Tafshin Yud is the first sefer in Teres Menachem of the Rebbe's talks. It's before the Rebbe even became accepted in the Messias. Before he was actually become Rebbe. So in Teres Tafshin Yud, one of the paragraphs at the very beginning, which right now I got the opportunity, they learn with Chavrusa the Bachur. So I go from Chavrusa to Chavrusa, and you end up learning the same page about 5 or 6 times every night, because everyone's basically up to the same general place. So a few nights ago, we were up to the difference between how Rabbi Akiva went on Mesiras Nefesh and how Avram Avinu went on Mesiras Nefesh. They both went on Mesiras Nefesh. Rabbi Akiva got combed to death with fiery comb. Yeah, and Avram Avinu went on Mesiras Nefesh. He was willing to get thrown into the fire, willing to shech his son. But over there, the Rebbe describes how Rabbi Akiva, his whole life, he said, I was searching to find how I would fulfill the mitzvah of going on Kiddush Hashem, to kill myself for Hashem. That's how Rabbi Akiva would used to speak. He was looking for it. It says Avram Avinu wasn't looking for it. Avram Avinu said, wherever I could make Hashem be found, that's where I will go. Whatever I could do to make Hashem be found is what I will do. Now, if that takes Mesiras Nefesh, that takes me dying on Kiddush Hashem, so I'll do that as well. But he was dedicated to Hashem, and that went above anything that he was. So he was a Isha Chesed, he was a kind man. Yeah, but he didn't care, because Hashem was his whole existence. Hashem was what he wanted to do. So therefore, Hashem told him, you have to, leave, go to Eretz Yisrael. So he went. Hashem told him, shech yourself. So he went. Every single time he overpowered his own being to do what Hashem wanted. Now why? Not because of a mitzvah, not because he wanted to fulfill dying on Kiddush Hashem. No, because he was dedicated. So that's even a higher level of dedication. Rabbi Akiva wanted to do it. Avram Avinu didn't want to do it. He just did it. So the idea is that Avram Avinu overpowered his own midos, his own chesed, to do everything that Hashem wanted. It was like which is a powerful thing.
He came to a point of what does what I want have to do with it?
Yeah. He was taket when you say dir b'tachtonim, that you have to do dir b'tachtonim, you have to
go out there and do something. This Avram Avinu was the guy, because he didn't think about how I could do it. He said what needs to get done. And if that goes for me, good. If that goes against me, also good. It didn't matter to him. Anyways, that's what I don't know. There was a bunch of little short sichos in the Dvar Malchus this week. So I was flipping through them Thursday night because I had to give a shir Friday morning. I didn't know what I was going to speak about the parsha. So at 12 o'clock I realized it didn't have something prepared yet. So I opened up the Dvar Malchus and I flipped to one little sicha they have there. Then I flipped to the next one and the next one and the next one. It seems that someone learned a lot of sichos and he put together all these different examples throughout Avram Avinu's life as you go through the psukim. Every single one of how Avram Avinu didn't do his chesed and did what Hashem wanted. So after I read all of them, I made a list and it was amazing. And then I show up on Friday and there was a Farbrengen Tuesday and no one came. Okay. So now I got to say it to someone. And then Friday morning in the mikvah he asked me to Farbrengen. So Baruch Hashem, I already had something to say, but I didn't have a person to say it to. So he gave me something to say it to.
No, you actually already had. You already had it. It's just that Chaim hadn't seen you yet.
Right.
Tell you about it.
Right.
He didn't let you know that you had it to talk to you.
So I'd like to thank Chaim for giving me an opportunity to say something.
You'll have Mr. Hashem, again opportunities.
Check on the soup, yeah? It might be ready.
Yeah, as far as I was actually thinking, see,
Yeah.
if you think of actually all of the Talmidim of actually of Rabbi Avinu. You can picture literally people going to yeshiva, right? All Bali yeshiva because their parents were a bunch of idolaters. Right?
Yeah.
And yet, what happened to their descendants? And yet, it's the same thing with the Eden. Actually, most of the Jews in Egypt were busy worshiping idols and stuff, so we can't boast. So maybe what it is that maybe Yitzchak had to be filled with Gevurah in order to buck the trend, because otherwise, I guess it would have been that would have all been lost. It would be just like the Talmidim. It's possible maybe some of the Talmidim of actually Ephraim Avinu, actually the descendants buried into the Jewish people and kept them being actually Shaloyim, but the majority of them probably just drifted off into idolatry, just like the important Jews in Egypt. You know, Hashem redeemed us despite the fact that we were steeped in idolatry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe Yitzchak had to be actually filled with sternness in order to buck the trend.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really ever think about what happened to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, so the descendants of Eliezer, right? Eliezer was actually a nice from of those days. Everybody was a goy, so I guess you could say I'm a nice from goy, right? But what happened to his descendants? Maybe some of them married into the Jewish people and continued to be, but presumably, actually, I guess probably a lot of them.
Yeah.
Just became idol worshippers, you know. It's very, very hard in those days, you know, to go against idolatry. You know, it's like, why should they have an extra god? And you see, actually, you know, East Asia, right? You know, there's, you know, like let's say in Japan, most people are Shinto Zen Buddhists. Why not an extra god? Who cares? Yeah. You're bucking the trend. You know, only one god. What are you, crazy?
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
So Chaim, to speak about we have to speak about the Rebbe Rashab. Yeah, when the Rebbe Rashab was a young child, he went to I don't know if you know this, but I found this out very recently. I was trying to find the story about how the Rebbe Rashab became Rebbe. It was 10 years where there was no Rebbe in Lubavitch, in between the Rebbe Maharash and the Rebbe Rashab.
10 years, you said?
10 years. The Rebbe Rashab was in his early 20s, 21, when his father passed away.
And he waited 10 years?
Waited
before?
10 years to fully accept the Nesius of Chabad.
My goodness,
So,
stubborn.
so for those 10 years, there was a lot of back and forth of who's going to be the Rebbe, because the Rebbe Rashab had an older brother named the Razal, Zalmanar. Now, because of this, not only do we have a lot of stories about that time period, but we also have a lot of stories about their youth. Because the way that the Hasidim showed how the Rebbe Rashab should become Rebbe over the Razah, they didn't know who, was first of all the Razah declined many times, and second of all because they had stories of closeness shown specifically to the Rebbe Rashab. So one of the stories is that the following. So this is something I just found out recently, but that any of the children in Beis Harav that were part of the Rebbe's family, they owned a shtreimel, and they owned a bekeshe and a gart. You ever heard this?
They all used to wear it.
Yeah. Now they wore it, not always, I think it said they only wore it in Yechidus. When they went to Yechidus by the Rebbe, whoever was the Rebbe, they would wear a shtreimel. So imagine a 3-year-old kid with a shtreimel, they would wear a bekeshe, and they would wear a gart. So everyone had one. So now, every day, the Rebbe Rashab and his brother the Razah would go in to the Tzemach Tzedek when they were very young. This is when the Rebbe Rashab was 5 years old. And every day they would put on their bekeshe, put on their shrine and walk in. Now one day, and the Razah couldn't find his shrine, couldn't find his bekeshe, couldn't find something. And because of that, he said, okay, you go in, I'll stay, because I can't go in without my shrine. So you'll go in and you'll speak, you'll get the Yechidus by yourself today.
And who is actually the Razah?
So the Razah Reb Zalmanar, the Rebbe Rashab's older brother. So the Rashab goes in by himself, and he when the Tzemach Tzedek saw that he was by himself, so the Tzemach Tzedek this time picked him up, put him on his lap, and he gave him a kiss. He gave him a coin, and he told him a famous, not
now it became famous in Pittsburgh because I used it to describe what the Indian of a Rebbe is. Parak Beis Tanya. We finished Parak Beis Tanya a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So he said a vart on machzis hashekel, giving the half shekel. We give it every Tanis Esther. The word machzis has 5 letters. Mem, ches, tzadik, yud, saf. Tzadik's in the middle. On either side of it is a ches and a yud, and on either side of that is a mem and a saf. So the tzaddik is the tzaddik. Chai, ches yud, is alive. If someone is close to the tzaddik, right around the letter tzaddik, and he's alive, he's chai, ches and yud. If someone chas v'shalom is far away from the tzaddik, he's mace, mem, saf. So this describes how Parak Beis Tanya describes how a Rebbe is the one that the chayis comes through from Hashem. The channel is the Nasi. The Nasi, the leader of the generation, channels Hashem's energy to everyone. Now, he gives everyone, no matter who you are. Whether you are Lubavitch, whether you're not Lubavitch, it doesn't matter. Every single Yid is getting his chayis through the Rebbe, through the Tzaddik. But the closer you allow yourself to become to the Rebbe, the more chayis you get. You're more chay the closer you are. So that's machatzis. And now, this is what the Tzemach Tzedek say. From the Tzemach Tzedek. That's what he told him. So he gave him a coin, gave him a kiss, and he told him the vart about a Rebbe. Comes, the Rashab walks out, and his brother Razah asked him what happened. So he said, you wouldn't believe it. Zaidi gave me a kiss, and Zaidi gave me a coin. And the Razah was jealous. So Razah being the older brother, I'm the younger brother. The Razah was the older brother. So he was bigger, stronger. So he grabbed the coin from the Rebbe Rashab. Takes the coin. So Rashab told him a profound vart. He said, you could take the coin, you could grab the coin, but you can't grab the kiss. Anyways, so before we say the end of the story, this was a story that the Razah said when they asked him to become Rebbe. They asked the Razah, the older brother of the Rebbe. He said, I can't become Rebbe. Why? Because the Tzemach Tzedek kissed the Rebbe Rashab. And it must be, if he gave him a kiss, that he's the one that has to become. Anyways, the end of the story is that the Razah, after Rashab told him this, so the Razah felt bad, and he decided that he wants to give back the coin. So he tried to give back the coin, and the Rashab told him, no, you're going to get the coin, and I'm going to get the kiss. That was it. And that's what? It was a sale. What? Oh, the Razah made a lot of money. Yeah, the Rebbe Marash was wealthy. The Razah also was wealthy, and the Rebbe Rashab, I don't know. Anyways, the story of the Rebbe Rashab in his youth was also another one where he came from a rich family. All the sons of the Tzemach Tzedek won the lottery. That's how they became rich. Very easy way to become rich. I heard you could check it up. That's why I heard you. You can look in the archives of the Russian government and you'll find that they won the lottery. Yeah. Some Tzemach Tzedek would tell them to buy tickets, and they would buy tickets and they would win. So they became rich. Anyway, so the Rebbe Rashab, his father, the Rebbe Marash, was rich. He sent him to Cheder with white bread. He gets to Cheder with white bread, and every day, so we have to back up. There was the wagon driver's son, or whatever his name was. I don't remember his name. He himself was the wagon driver. He was the son of someone very poor. I don't know if his son or father was a wagon driver. He was the wagon driver in town. So they asked him, tell us, we know that you grew up, you went to Cheder with the Rebbe Rashab. So tell us a story from the youth of the Rebbe Rashab. So finally they gave him enough mashke. And he said, okay, I'll tell you guys a maaseh. When I was a kid, every day the Rebbe Rashab used to come with white bread, and I used to come with black bread, hard black bread and garlic. And my mother would scrape garlic onto the bread, like smear it, to make it, I guess, have some sort of taste. So that was the trade-off. I would give him my black bread, and he would give me his white bread. Why? So this is the wagon driver talking. This is a very simple reason why. It's very simple. The reason why he would do that is because he loved black bread with garlic. Anyways, that's the way to give tzedakah, to be nice to someone. But the person 20 years later didn't chav that he was giving him white bread. Anyways, that's another story of the Rebbe Rashab. But yeah, so what the Rebbe Rashab's crowning accomplishment was. His crowning accomplishment is Taim Chitzman. Yeah. But I don't think anyone's going to argue. Why? Because that's what the Rebbe Rashab wanted it to be. Not Ayin Beis, not Samach Vav, not anything that he did with the Russian government, not any sort of amount of chassidim. The best thing, the most important thing that he accomplished was the fact that he started Tem Chitzmim. And when he started Tem Chitzmim, it began in a very, very poor state. How did it look? So we're going to describe how a Maimer looked and how Tem Chitzmim looked. Why? Because it's the Rebbe Rashab's birthday, so I think it's apropos to describe it. So first of all, when they started Tem Chitzmim, the Rebbe Rashab would not let anyone donate. Imagine this: you start a yeshiva, and the first rule you have: no outside donations. We're funding it all internally. I don't know what internally meant, but it was no outside donations. That was his first rule. The problem was you have to feed the bachar. So he had a shul, so he had a building, but how do you feed the bachar? There's no food. So his mother, Rebbe Rivka, said, "Don't worry. Whatever we eat, the bachar will eat." And Rebbe Rivka would feed all the bachar. I don't know how many all the bachar were. It was probably 10 bachar, something like that. And so they would come to Rebbe Rivka's house, and whatever the Rebbe Rashab and his mother, Rebbe Rivka, was eating, and whatever the Rebbe Beis Harab was eating, the bachrim also ate. That's how it began. The building of the how did the building look? The building, there was no dorm. There was only a room. That was the zal and the dorm. So at night, I heard this from a mashpia. I'm not going to say name because I don't remember when he said it and what state he was. And I don't remember it that clearly myself. But this is what I remember. You'll tell me if I'm correct. That the beds came down from the wall. It was boards, right? Yeah, this is correct. What I remember being told that it was 3 levels of boards came down from the wall. So it was a very small room. So to fit enough people, no. It didn't say that. What is a big room? How big was the big room? It was the big zal. I don't know if it was that big. They have a size. Now they redid it. Okay. It's bigger than this. Maybe this size. Okay. The way I remembered is that there was 3 levels of boards. It came down from the side, yeah. So any event, all the beds were lifted up during the day, brought down at night, and I always think how much that room must have had a very geschmack reach nechayach. After all the bachrim spending their whole day in there and then sleeping in there, and probably hygiene was not on the highest level in Russia. So, anyways, what?
Level was done.
Whatever it was. Yeah. Anyway, so that's how the room looked. Now, how did it look to hear Samach Lav and Ayin Beis from the Rebbe Rasha? So, Rav Shlomo Chaim, we were discussing before, Rav Shlomo Chaim heard Ayin Beis, and that's why he ended up staying for 6 years straight. He didn't see his parents for 6 years. He only went home because he got a draft notice, and he had to go to the draft. And he came into the Rebbe Rasha, right? Still the Rebbe Rasha. I think when he got his draft, it was still the Rebbe Rasha. Yeah? Came in, and the Rebbe Rasha told him, the Rebbe Shab said that you will, don't worry, go to the draft office, sign in, and they'll let you go. Rebbe Shlomo Chaim went back, and he was freed. Now, why did Rebbe Shlomo Chaim not go home for 6 years? Because he shows up, and then the first year, first of all, how did he end up there? Okay, no, we have to do this right. Okay. How did Shlomo Chaim end up in Tem Chitzmim? He ended up in Tem Chitzmim because someone came back to his town. That was in yeshiva in Lubavitch. This bacher came back to his town, and he told everyone about this amazing yeshiva in Lubavitch. So you should go. So the father of Shlomo Chaim heard about it, and he decided he wants to send his son. So he sent his son and one other bacher. I don't know who the other bacher is, if you know. No. Okay. He sent his son to Tem Chitzmim in Lubavitch. By the way, the bacher that came and told them about it, that brought Shlomo Chaim to Lubavitch, his parents didn't let him go back. And he never became a Lubavitcher chassid. He became a regular yid, but he didn't end up being a Lubavitcher chassid. They say that the neshamas of Tem Chitzmim are handpicked, and it seemed that this bacher was not handpicked to be, but he was handpicked to pick Reb Shlomo Chaim. Yeah, that's what it seems. Anyway, so Shlomo Chaim came, and then the first year he wants to leave for Tishrei, and everyone's coming for Tishrei. So he's thinking, how could I leave by Yom Neroim and by Sukkot? If everyone's coming to the Rebbe, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to go home. So he stayed. then Pesach finally, was ready old enough to be ready there long enough, whatever it was, to be part of baking the matzahs. So he said, I'm going to give up the opportunity to bake the Rebbe's matzahs. I can. The next year, whatever it was. Anyways, then Ayin Beis started. He said, Tafresh Ayin Beis, big hemshech. And he said, it's such a hemshech, he can't leave in the middle. So he ended up staying all the way through. Then at the end, he got a draft notice, so he went home. And when he got home, he knocks on the door with a full beard, like Yosef, and his parents didn't recognize him. They asked, who are you? He said, I'm Shlomo Chaim. Right? That was the words? What was the, I don't know. Something like that. They had the words in the Sefer. I don't remember. Well, it's here, yeah? Okay, you can find it. Okay. Anyway, so that's how that was his introduction to Lubavitch, and every time they wanted to send Reb Shlomo Chaim away, the Rebbe Rasham always said, no, I didn't spend so much koiches, I didn't want him here for that. And every time he would rush them away to send them anywhere to do anything else. He wanted him to be in Lubavitch, in the yeshiva in Lubavitch. Okay. Also, Reb Shlomo Chaim became a mashpia at 25. That's why it's a big... I just turned 25.
Oh, awesome.
So it's good. It gives me some... Now, I don't think in any way I'm comparable to Reb Shlomo Chaim.
Call you Shlomo Chaim, it's a
What?
joke.
But...
And your parents called you Shlomo Chaim, it's a joke.
Huh?
And your parents used to call you Shlomo Chaim, it's a joke.
No. But I think it was good when I read that line. It made me feel a little bit better.
Fine.
Slightly. Okay. Well, fine. Yeah. Okay, so we should describe a mimer and then should we sing it again? I don't know how this works. When I Farbrengen in yeshiva, it just goes however it goes.
Okay, well, first we'll say L'chaim, and then we'll sing it again, and then...
Hi. Hi.
I didn't realize that Rashi was telling me that you were in his class in Torah Emes. I didn't realize that.
Okay. Chaim. Okay.
On the way to the sub.
Only the Rashab went to Rostov, no?
Only the Rashab, yeah. We just described how Temple
Yeah.
one room.
Oh, yeah, there was nobody.
They left.
They had one room and the beds came down from the wall. Boards, wooden boards. That was it.
Imagine Ellie.
But what's interesting is
You learn to do this in pajamas.
younger buckers, they will come and watch older buckers learn for an hour, and they stay there for another hour, and then only after that will they take the beds down.
To sleep.
Yeah, meaning with the Seder was the younger bucker, like the 13-year-olds, finished Seder an hour before the older ones.
But I don't think they were there. They were in different
at one
cities.
point.
Okay.
They would sit there and watch them for an hour learn, and then they would,
You're talking about at night?
yeah, they finished learning 10 o'clock at night.
Seder started at 7 and ended at 10. 2 hours of Chassidus before and 2 hours after.
Well, they didn't have a commute home.
And there was just 2 breaks. There was just 2 breaks. It went 2 hours, a break of an hour. I don't know how much time for Nigla. 2 hours. Yeah. It was serious. It was serious. I don't know if this was in Lubavitch, but for sure there was yeshivas in Europe. They would learn a blot every day. They would finish a masechta from Sukkot to Pesach, Pesach to Sukkot. Every year they finished a masechta. So if it was Baba Basra, they finished in one, did a full year. Every day you learn one daf in a year. But they learned for 10 hours. Whatever it was. That's how it worked.
4 hours a day Chassidus?
If I'm not mistaken. 2 and 2. Anyway, so how did it look when the Rebbe Rashab said a mimer? So the Rebbe Rashab would come in on Friday night. Every week on Friday night there would be a mimer, especially during Tafreshayin Bays. I don't know. I think there's like a mimer every week or something, right?
A bunch of years there's.
Bunch of years, no?
Yeah.
How many weeks?
Every Friday night.
Every Friday night? Always? It was always every Friday night? Every Friday night. Okay. Fine. Every Friday night there was a mimer. How did it look?
He was there.
I think that's what starting about.
Right.
It was 80 years ago, is that 100 years ago?
So every Friday night, they would walk in, and the way it worked is there was a square set up, a square of tables, and there was the middle was empty, and there was a chair in the middle. And the Rebbe Rashab was sitting in that chair in the middle. All the Bachrim would stand around outside the table, standing. Okay, and the mimer could be an hour or two, however long it was. And in middle was the Rebbe Rashab on a chair, and the Frierdiker Rebbe facing the Rebbe Rashab. So the Rebbe Rashab said the mimer to the Frierdiker Rebbe. Yeah, by the Rebbe there was no one sat directly across from the Rebbe. Over time there was no space in 770, and people ended up crowding until the spot directly across from the Rebbe was at the end taken. But that's why no one stood across. The Rebbe said a mimer with closed eyes. The Rebbe Rashab and the Frierdiker Rebbe said a mimer with open eyes. Why? Because they had someone worthy enough to say it to. Anyway, yeah. The last person to have the mimer said to, I think I heard was Ephraim Baruch Pes. I don't know if it was last one. He was one of them that the Frierdiker Rebbe said a mimer to. Anyway, so, Well, that makes sense? He used to stand across from the Frierdiker Rebbe. Yeah. But the Rebbe, there was no one that was someone that the Rebbe would say the mimer to. Yeah. Okay. So the Rebbe Rashab would walk in, start the mimer, start low. So he would start speaking very quietly, and as the mimer went, the mimer got louder and louder and louder, saying it to the Frierdiker Rebbe. And then afterwards, all the Bachrim would chaz the mimer, and it didn't seem that they made it to any Shabbos meals. Right when Kabbalah Shabbos ended in the regular show, it didn't seem that's where the Bachrim were an hour after Shabbos. I would like to say thank you for everyone that hosted the Bachrim this week. This is the first time the Bachrim went to the houses this week. I don't know who hosted. It was good. Bachrim like it. Very much so.
They asked me.
What? They asked you. Okay, it's too loud.
I'm on the
Yeah, no.
on the list.
No, because I'll tell you that Baruch Hashem, we have a very good cook. We very good chef. He makes food, but there is a certain idea of getting a home cooked meal that can never be replicated. The Bachrim will always complain about the food unless they're in someone else's house.
Of course. Yeah, it should be hosted every Shabbos.
Well,
It should be hosted every Shabbos.
if the more it happens, the better. Yeah. Yeah, no, Bemis, it's very important. It makes them happy.
In your bag.
Anyways, so Rebbe and Rivka hosted the Bachrim every day. Yeah. So that's the idea of the mimer being said of Tafushayin Bey, especially Tafushayin Beis is a hemshich that was Rabbi Shlomo Chaim was there for. So every single week, there was a mimer said. Every single week they listened to this one. That's how Timchah Timim in Lubavitch look like. Okay, I don't know. What else should we speak about? I don't know what else to talk about.
The whole stories and stuff.
He read out. They put in a chayil this week. I didn't look at the chayil. But they put everything in, so now everyone knows everything.
And your last name?
It used to be
The comics too they put in.
What?
The comics with Remington and Remington about that delaying the bris.
Yeah, they put that one in. Okay. How about
He shot the nice little Torah. It's like a Rabbi eating Torah. A barrel ice from
yeah?
California.
Which one?
A story with him.
Which story with him?
Many that he wanted to open a business and he asked the Rabbi for his lachar. The Rebbe gave him. The Rebbe says, "What are you going to give to me?" He says, "Rebbe, I'll give you whatever you want." So the Rebbe told him, "I want you to bring me 1,000 black amara by next year."
Wow. He hired Rabbi to live with him.
And he's like, 1,000 black Rebbe. He started making deals. That's his making deals with everybody. So I think he haggled down to 500 black amara.
He haggled.
So he agreed. The Rebbe agreed that he could do 500 blocks instead of 1,000 blocks. Next year, 500 blocks.
And he did it.
Yeah. Lukowski?
Yeah, Rabbi Lefkowski. He had a personal rub. Rabbi Lefkowski in LA. And
5-6 hours a day. How many? 6 hours a day.
And there's another thing. The Rebbe told him about how many. He says, Yisachar and Zvulun. What do you think the Yisachar, Zvulun was doing business? What do you think Zvulun was doing when he was traveling? He was sitting in the ship, and he had a Tanya with him, and he had a Siddur and a Tanya. The Chumash, and he was sitting and learning even while he was traveling.
he was doing chitas.
Whenever Shab was our age, 37, he already established that move. Yeah.
Rabbi Shab was 14, he was married. Big difference between the Rabbi Shab.
Yeah.
Much more than that.
The Rabbi Shab, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, about Pharaoh's wife. So that's why I heard made him a chassid. The time when he became a Lubavitcher. I don't know. It could be folklore. It could be not true, but he said he came to the Rebbe and he came to Farbrengen. And he went to he would always go to Rebbe and write a check, and the Rebbe would give him all the Rebbes, all the different Rebbes, whatever, they give him big brachas. So finally he comes to the Rebbe and he hands him a check, like $100,000, like a crazy man. The Rebbe says, turns to me, Yashikaya. That was the end of it. He sat back down, and that's when he said it was no shtick. Never knew what he wanted. There was got to be that he was expecting shtick. No, I'm not doing shtick. Not even came across. He also wrote a blank check. Rabbi Weiss also gave the Rebbe a blank check and told the Rebbe, write whatever you want.
What did the Rebbe do?
I don't know what the Rebbe wrote in, but the Rebbe wrote in whatever the Rebbe needed. He decided should be written in.
Somebody gave the Rebbe a blank check, and the Rebbe wrote like $54.
Yeah, so that's what.
You talked about this right there. She took her and she's right? And she learned to Tanya, right? So how do we know that Avram Avinu was a chassid?
How?
Because when the ship told him he was going to go there in Israel, he said, "Wait a minute, it would be with all this." Left back, the ship said, "No, Gur." Bird says, "Let's say if you're a shtiblach, they're there to see them, but there go." So then Avram Avinu, they thought easy going there in Israel.
I mentioned before that your teva is more to learn Gemara than to go
Anyways,
Psalm.
yeah.
So when the Shluchim sent to Morocco, Bacham Shluchim, talking about the 1980s, the MEMS. So the Shluchim which were there were a very lively group and tremendous full of Psalm and everything, lots of good stuff. Even like they made Sherman Rambam across the whole entire Morocco, and that's when the Rebbe even started Rambam right after that, like the Rambam for everyone.
Yeah,
But
we made
it
the
was-
Siyum there. The first Siyum was in
She was in Morocco, but the year before the Rambam started, Lot Takana, as we say, is from there. But there was one Bacher who also was involved in the Tulis, but he mainly sat and learned. But he was always on time for Seder, and he sat and learned Yom V'Layla. He also did Tulis when he had to do. And they all came back to the Rebbe, and the whole group had a Yichidus together.
Yeah.
So in front of everybody, the Rebbe turned to that Bacher, and the Rebbe says, I heard that du hast übergekehrt ganz Morocco. You turned over the whole Morocco. The Rebbe pointing to that Bacher.
Right.
So, a lot of gets your Sarin that.
Yeah, there's a story about Berowitz going against his nature. Was when he started growing a beard. So every time he would walk by the Rebbe would give him $13 for 13 Tikkun Dikna for 13 Yigdal Mizrachim. The beard represents 13 strands of your beard.
So it was connected to him growing a beard.
Yeah. So the Rebbe gave him $13 every time he walked by for a meshech zman, a certain amount of time. That's when, after a while, it became natural. As soon as it became the normal look for Berowitz, he stopped getting the dollars. What was the idea? That when he was breaking his nature, if he was going against his teva, then he got the dollars. As soon as it started being his teva, he didn't need to have it. So it ties into what we were saying before, that Avraham Avinu did a bunch of things that were not Avraham Mishachas. Almost all the stories we hear in Torah, he's breaking himself to do it, to be gvura every time. So, idea is that Dir B'Tachtenim is made not by doing what's easy for you, but by doing what's needed to get. Anyway, so that was something hard for Berowitz. It wasn't hard for him to write a check, or to even write a blank check. But it was hard for him to grow a beard. That's when he got the special kiro from the Rebbe. Yeah. I spoke so much. I don't know why you guys want to hear me talk.
We're getting warmed up. Say L'chaim a little. Hey, Maisa.
It's a red bird. There's a mimer. Whatever it was. Those were the Friday night mimer. Like
Friday night,
the mimer that you see, like an iron base. They were said on Friday night.
Friday nights.
Masai Kosimar Lishayavutu Masachutza Hey Masai Kosimar Lishayavutu Masachutza Hey Masai Kosimar Lishayavutu Masai Kosimar
So the same idea about people that push themselves in certain ways to do something that may not have been naturally inclined. I want to share a story or two, which I heard about, I don't know, different people, but I heard the story about Rabbi Krinsky's design Shak. So one day he became the Rebbe's driver and the Rebbe's secretary after that when he got married. And how did he become the driver? Because he was the only bacher in 770 that had a license. So therefore he automatically became the driver. When he got married, his father asked him what's going to be with my son-in-law. What's he going to do? So he said, don't worry, I'll take care of him. Then he made him a secretary. So he became the Rebbe's secretary. So when Reb Yudel was driving the Rebbe one day, he drove him to Gan Yisrael, famous twice, but one of the times when he drove him there, he drove the Rebbe on the day of his engagement, the day of his Vart. And he gets back from Gan Yisrael late at night. His father-in-law standing there. He said as a joke, he missed the whole L'chaim.
L'chaim took place without.
The L'chaim took place. It happened because it happened. It was called for. He just the chassan wasn't there. So when he showed up, his father-in-law is there to greet him. Tells him, so it's the shidduch is off. That's a joke, by the way. I heard people say it for real. It was a joke. Okay, I checked this. I confirmed this. This is reconfirmed because I wanted to make sure the story wasn't it was a joke. But the idea was that I don't know if Rabbi Yehuda wanted to drive the Rebbe that night. Of course he did. It's chus to drive the Rebbe, but the idea was that he was willing to give up and not be by his l'chaim because that's what he had to do. He went. That's one story. The other story is just because recently was my birthday, so there's a story about birthday cake, which everyone needs to know about having a birthday cake, because the Bachram always make you a birthday cake in yeshiva. If you Farbrengen, if you Farbrengen, the Bachram will make you a birthday cake. Even if you don't. Yeah. So they made me a birthday cake. So therefore I said the story about Rabbi Yudel and his birthday cake. One day he got back from driving up to the oil. The Rebbe turns to him and says, "Heinz Daniel Levis." Yeah. So he said, "Yes, it is." So I said, "Are you going to celebrate your birthday? You're going to have a birthday cake." So he said, "Of course, what do you answer? You're going to have a birthday cake?" What do you answer? I said, "Yes, we're going to have a birthday cake." You don't have cake in your house, but you're still going to have a birthday cake, right? So he went home and he found a piece of cake. He stuck a candle in the cake. I don't know if he lit the candle. I didn't hear. He stuck the candle in the cake and it became that piece of cake. It became a birthday cake. He had a birthday cake. So any event we were discussing till now, the need of dir b'tachtenim, and this is something that the Rebbe Rashab started by Tinchatimim. Said you're not just learning Torah to learn Torah, you're learning Torah to make it part of your life, to make it do Avodah session with it, which was tefillah davening, and ultimately to actually bring it down into this world. So now we're heading towards Tefillas Shlochim, and the beginning of this, the revolutionary part of Chabad really took place when Tinchatimim was founded. That people were told, you're not just here for yourself, you're not just here for your own learning, your own avodah, but rather it's to bring everything down into the world. It was to take chassidus and fuse it together with nigla to bring the Eibishter into reality. So the Kiddush is coming up. Bezos Hashem will, I don't know, whoever has the opportunity to go. Baruch Hashem, I have the opportunity to go to New York, be there and see all the shluchim. It's very nice. I don't have much more to say, so I'm opening the floor.
Say l'chaim.
L'chaim l'vrach. Yeah. L'chaim. Shkech for having me.
The Moshe Shabbos is a story of tzaddikim.
Yeah.
What's the story? Nice, tzaddikim.
I should tell you another story. I said stories of this. We could say one more story about the Rebbe Rashab. A bunch more stories about the Rebbe Rashab. One is a story about the Rebbe Rashab. He was, they were playing Rebbe and Chassid. And they were playing Rebbe Chassid. So one day they decided instead of playing Rebbe Chassid, they'll play Gabbai Chassid. Gabbai Rebbe.
Oh. Rebbe Gabbai.
Rebbe Gabbai. And the Rebbe Rashab, the Razah said, "I'm going to be the Rebbe and you're going to be the Gabbai because I'm older than you." So the Rebbe Rashab said, "No. Why not? Because when we grow up, I'm not going to be a Gabbai and you're not going to be a Rebbe. So therefore, you can't be the Rebbe and I can't be the Gabbai."
Heard the story.
Well, never heard this story. Really?
No.
Oh, you're there? Oh. Another story of the Rebbe Rashab is about he cracked nuts on Shabbos. One day he cracked nuts on Shabbos. So he cracked open the shells, and you're not allowed to do that on Shabbos. So they played Rebbe Chassid. This time he allowed it. I guess they were younger. So the Razah was the Rebbe and he was the Chassid. He comes in to get a tikkun for cracking nuts on Shabbos. So the Arzad is wearing his little shkaimer on Bekisha that he had, and he tells him, okay, I'm giving you a tikkun. What's a tikkun? To daven from inside the siddur. Whenever on Shabbos. On Shabbos, daven inside the siddur. Right? You do this on Shabbos, you crack nuts on Shabbos, now you need to daven for Shabbos from inside the siddur. So comes next Shabbos, and he's not davening from inside the siddur. His mother, who was Rebbetzin Rivka, overheard this, had seen this game, asked the Rebbe Rashab, why are you listening to your brother's advice, the Rebbe's advice? Kid Rebbe. And the Rashab says, what do you mean? Of course not. Because he's not a real Rebbe. So the mother asked how? How do you know? He said it's very simple, because before a Rebbe says what to do, he gives a tikkun, he first sighs, he first lets out a krechts. And my brother didn't let out a krechts. So since he didn't let out the krechts, he can't be the Rebbe, and since he can't be the Rebbe, he can't give me the advice. So that was he said, so therefore I don't even listen to the advice. So it's interesting. What's the Indian of the Rebbe? The Rebbe is the krechts. The Rebbe cares. The Rebbe is giving a love. And through the love, then the Rebbe also tells you what to do. But the telling of what to do is not the main point. The fact that the Rebbe cares about you is the main point. After that is all the advice.
Did you say that in the previous game, actually, the Rebbe Rashab had said, if he the Rebbe Rashab would that be Rebbe?
I don't know.
The other way around.
I don't know. I didn't understand.
But what happened in the previous game?
Game when one said you're going to be the Rabbi.
He didn't want to be the Gabbai, because he said, I'm not going to be a Gabbai, you're not going to be a Rebbe.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. The other story is a very, very nice amount of writing of the Frierdiker Rebbe about the Rebbe Rashab's davening, which this is one of my favorite pages of the Frierdiker Rebbe's writings. So the story of the Frierdiker Rebbe discovering the Rebbe Rashab davening. What happened? The Frierdiker Rebbe walks into shul and he sees his father davening. The Rebbe Rashab used to start davening with the minyan. They started then at 9:30 in Lubavitch, and he would daven until 3-4 in the afternoon. When the minyan finished, he was only up to Baruch Shamar around. That was it. So his son would come in to hear the Rebbe Rashab, his father, davening, and he walks back into shul later on in the afternoon, and he hears the Rebbe Rashab crying during his davening. Crying and crying and crying. And as a son, he felt bad that he's watching his father cry so much. So he started crying first of all, and he went to his uncle, the Razah, and asked his uncle, what's the deal? Why is my father not davening like everyone else? All the other tatis in shul, they finish with them, and they go home, they make kiddush for their families, they have a nice meal, they're not crying during davening. Why can't my father daven properly? That's what he asked the Razah. The Razah responded, because your father can't read so fast. He reads slowly. Because he reads slowly, so it takes him a long time, so he finishes 3-4 in the afternoon. This is what the Frierdiker Rebbe writes. Okay. But the Frierdiker Rebbe was not happy. My father can't read properly. It's very sad, yeah? Okay.
Who said that they can't read?
What?
Rivka?
No, but I'll tell you like this. When I Farbrengen usually, not only is there no recording, there's no phones out. If someone takes out a phone, they get at like $100 class and like the phone gets taken away for a week. But for sure they don't then ask me what I said. That's for sure. That's for sure they don't ask me that afterwards.
If you take my phone, you have to take all my calls for that week.
No, I don't need to take your phone. But I'm just saying, when someone asks me what I said and he had his phone out, it irks me that I could say something by Ephraim. Usually I don't say anything. You guys should have your phone out. You guys are all older than me. Everyone, almost, besides one person here. Everyone else is older than me. You guys can do whatever you want. But I'm just saying, don't ask me then when you miss a piece of information, what the information was.
It's on the Zoom recording, don't worry.
And it's exactly, this is all recorded, which is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. A recorded Farbrengen is an oxymoron, but it's fine. Anyways, okay.
The story you said over here reminds me of a different story.
Yeah.
That Rabbi Gordon in London.
I didn't finish the story, but you can say.
You didn't?
No, Sag the mice, and then I'll finish the story.
Rabbi Gordon in London tells over the story how Jonathan Sachs, former chief rabbi of the
United Kingdom,
used to say, one of the things he used to say about what took him in the Lubavitch was that one Shabbos he comes to 770, he comes to Crown Heights, and the Rebbe, I guess the Rebbe didn't bring every week in those days, right?
Yeah.
So he's eating by somebody, by Crown Heights Balabas, Shabbos lunch. He said one of the things that impresses him, he davens, he comes to 7:70, 10 o'clock, they finish at place 12:15, 12:30, whatever it is. He's ready, Jonathan Sachs, he's davened, he's had to sit, he's ready to go thing, and the guy's just davening, and place, 1:15, 1:20, the guy closes his thing. I don't know exactly the details.
It wasn't so late.
It wasn't so late. Whatever, 45 minutes an hour. I don't know exactly how long. Whatever. The details don't matter.
Yeah.
So he closed the thing. He said this was, to him it was like, what? Someone's just davening. This really took him. So Rabbi Gordon says over the story. When he says over the story, he says over the story the way he said the story over in London. And he said the story, and this Bacha pipes, he should have come to my house. He should have come to my home.
They started.
My father finishes straight away. Stop.
Anyways.
Right?
Yeah.
So what happened after he finished? So this was the Razal's answer. The Razal said he davened slowly. Yeah? He can't say the word so fast. That's what the Razal answered. That was his answer. He didn't like the answer. But whatever, he left. So the next week, a couple weeks later, he's in shul again, and he sees his father davening. And this time, his father was crying. And Friedrich Rebbe writes there, Mamish Amoyerdike. The description is very forceful. Okay, about how his father got up to the word Shema Yisrael, like full of emotion and with a broken heart, he cries the word Shema Yisrael, stops. And then he says Hashem Elokeinu, and he cries and he stops. And then Friedrich writes, like, from the fullness of his heart, with his entire being, the essence of his soul, it's invested in a bunch of different words to describe, adjectives. He cries out Hashem Echad. Burst out crying. The Friedrich said, he didn't know what to do with himself. His father's crying. What's he going to do? So he goes to his mother. And he asks his mother, what should I? He asked his mother, who was the wife of the Rebbe Rashab, what's going on here? So she said, go to your grandmother. Your grandmother will know the answer. Okay, so he goes to Rebbe Tzimrik with his grandmother. I'm a very big fan of Rebbe Tzimrik. I don't know. And it's weird to be a fan of certain people in the Lubavitch literature, but one of the people that I love reading stories about is Rebbe Tzimrik. Rebbe Tzimrik was the storyteller of Lubavitch. The storyteller of Lubavitch. A lot of stories that we have came through Rebbe Tzimrik. Anyways, so Rebbe Tzimrik answered. She said very simple. She told him, first of all, she said, your father's a tzaddik. And a tzaddik, she said, before any word leaves his mouth, thinks about what he's going to say before he says it. And that's why it takes him so long to that. That was her answer. And with that, he was comforted. Yeah.
Was the result was he a chassid of his brother?
The Razal was a big chassid of his brother. Yeah.
He started to wonder over there.
Yeah. Anyways, the other thing in Rishimus is where, in the Friedrich Rebbe's, what was that? I don't remember. Okay. Friedrich Rebbe writes another part also about the Rebbe Rashab, how much respect was shown to him. That everyone waited until he came to have tea. One day they were all sitting around, the whole base of Rav was sitting around, and everyone waited till the Rebbe Rashab walked in. Once Rebbe Rashab walked in, then they brought in the Samavur, the hot water machine. We only brought him there. So it reminded me when they brought in over here, they brought in the soup. They waited till everyone came, and then they brought in the soup. By the way, it's a good idea.
It wasn't ready yet, by the way.
But it is a good idea, because if you bring it in early, then it gets cold. That makes sense.
Right.
No one's going to drink before the Rebbe Rashab walks in. So I'm saying they waited until he came in. Anyways, but while they were waiting, the Friedrich Rebbe is there as a child, and he's there with another cousin of his. It seems his cousin wasn't the most chassidish bacher. They were both young. They were both very young, kids. He wasn't the most chassidish guy. And he tells the Friedrich Rebbe, when your father comes, I'm going to tell your father that you ate whatever they were given, the sweets they were given, without making a bracha. And you didn't make a bracha. So the Friedrich Rebbe obviously is very worried. He writes, he was very worried. Very, very sad. This guy's gonna make my father be upset at me. So the Friedrich Rebbe turns to this cousin and he says back to him, no, you're lying. I made a bracha, and to prove it to you, the Shamish heard me make the bracha. I remember his first name was Yosef. What was the name of it? Yosef Mordechai. Thank you. Yosef Mordechai was a Shamish for like 100 years, right? He was 100 years old? That's
98.
98, yeah. Okay, he heard me make the
By
bracha.
the way, he just looked that up on his phone. So there's some benefit. There's some
Hey,
benefit.
I said my piece about phones. Okay, I didn't think I would say it the first time I ever met everyone, but when someone asks you a question on what you said because they didn't hear you because they were on their phone, it's fitting to then give your opinion. Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
No violence.
Yosef Mordechai said, and what do you mean? Yosef Mordechai, not only did I make the bracha, Yosef Mordechai heard me make the bracha. And he answered on me. So the Friedrich Rebbe goes running off to Yosef Mordechai, and he says, Yosef Mordechai, did you hear me make the bracha? He said, yeah, of course, I answered on me. So he runs back to his cousin, and he says, you see, I made a bracha. Even Yosef Mordechai agrees that he heard me make a bracha. And then he said a very nice part. He said, and I must have made a bracha. Why? Because I am a tzaddik, the son of a tzaddik. And therefore, I for sure made a bracha. And you ate without making a bracha. That's what Friedrich Rebbe said. So it's a time where the Friedrich Rebbe wrote about himself that he's a tzaddik, and about his father that he's a tzaddik. Very interesting. The other time the Friedrich Rebbe left it out, he didn't write his personality, was when in Tafshin Yud he writes that the Rebbe Marash by his bris, by the Friedrich Rebbe's bris, quieted him from crying. He was crying by his bris. He said, "Why are you crying? You're going to say my Morim Chassidus and B," and then it's deleted. There's no words. Okay, so the Rebbe writes, "L'cha'ira." Why is it deleted? Because he was going to say that you're going to be a Rebbe in your generation. Anyways, so that was when the Friedrich Rebbe didn't describe it. But overall, the Friedrich Rebbe is very descriptive. He describes a lot on the situation in Lubavitch. So I don't know if you read the different books of the Friedrich Rebbe, you get a very big flavor of how it was. Yeah.
Well, first of all, Bichlal, his wording
is a flowery language.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
It's like, very beautiful. He also paints. It's not just the story.
Yeah.
He paints a picture, draws you in, like how much you feel
you're there. Right. You're right. Yeah, it's very descriptive. Yeah. The problem is that the bottom start Lakota Devar. You start from the first page. At the beginning, it's not the most exciting thing. So they get stuck and they don't go further. I don't know. I feel you should hand them.
Lubavitch Rabbi's memoirs.
No, they should always Zechenis, Shirley.
Right. No, but that's not about Lubavitch or Lubavitch.
But even that,
the Lubavitch Rabbi's memoirs is about before. Mm-hmm. I'm saying you have to read, I don't know, those historical sketches.
No books.
Yeah, but it has to be. I think historical sketches, making of Chassidim, all these things they're more current. They're more current. They're more. Lubavitch itself.
Yeah, but it's not about just current. It's not about just current.
I read it.
It's not about current. It's like
I found it one day in my
what it means to be a
grandfather's room, a library.
Yeah, English. Lubavitch Rebbe's life, right? It's Yiddish. Lubavitch Rebbe's life. Yeah. Are they gonna make it in English also? Translate it?
No. It's a hero made an English one.
What? Lubavitch Rebbe's memoirs?
Lubavitch
They
Rebbe's
have the
life.
third book. I read it.
Yeah, but it's
You
not
can't
Kahas.
buy it.
It's not Kahas, it's
Yeah.
by
No, it came out in Yiddish.
Came out in Yiddish.
No, it was. I think it was because
Articles.
someone did the copyrights or something.
Right, so it's by Shapiro.
But my grandfather had the sefer for some reason, so I saw it when Shabbos I was by his house. And I read the whole thing.
Yiddish or English?
English.
English.
It exists. It exists. You just need to know who has
I
it.
just got an email, so I think
Yeah.
it's available.
Yeah. Okay.
It continues into the next
next
slide.
slide.
Yeah. Years, I think. Years.
Shine. No. I'm done. I said my piece.
So you only have one piece?
Usually the Bachrim, they make the Farbrengen Golami. They dance on tables and cheers, whatever. Not
Yes,
tables.
everything
yet.
is backwards, right?
Right, by us it was backwards. By the way, at the beginning everyone's there. They all eat the food, then everyone leaves. Here, everyone is not here. Then the food comes later, and then people come.
All right, it's coming.
All right.
If I accidentally interrupted, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Probably did it on purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
Try to apologize to that. Only if I
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna turn off the broadcast so then we can be naughty at that point already.
What? Yeah, we can turn it off.
What?
Put it on time.